I just bought my dream bike, the Aprilia Tuono V4 Factory 1100. However, there was a problem. I had to take a bit of a leap when it came to budget on this one to get exactly what I wanted. And the frustration started when I looked at the market. For age, price range, budget, and mileage, there was only 5 bikes available. Of those 5, only 1 was a private sale, which made budget more of a factor. Obviously dealers they have to charge more to make money, I understand that. So none of them actually fitted my criteria. This colorway, this mileage, this bike's 11,000 miles. I managed to find one off market. And I was so pleased about that because I nearly pulled the trigger on an S1000R. Incredible bikes, but the problem is they just don't have that V4 engine. So as a last-ditch effort, I dropped a message in the Tuono's owner club, and someone that had been thinking about selling it sent me some pictures of this. When it came to some of the other ones that I had found, service history might have been a bit spotty on some of them, wrong colorway, mileage was just a bit too high. But after back and forth on this one, I was pretty confident this was going to be the one. We were just a smidge over 11,000 miles on the clock. So 12,000 miles is the valve check. So I can run it for this season and then do the valve check. So that was spot on. Relatively new tires, slip-on exhaust, that's in titanium, yes. And the price, happily under market value, to the point where I could probably ride this for the next 2 years and sell it for exactly the same money that I paid for it. But there was some challenges that came along with it. This bike was in Market Drayton. That's 220 miles away from here. That meant borrowing a van, borrowing Tom's front wheel mount, borrowing straps to go across the bars. So a lot of favors needed to be called in. Initially, I had planned to do it all in one go, 500 miles in a day, go there, buy it, bring it back. And then I just realized that was going to be too much. So we did a night stay up there, and then in the morning we went and bought it. And yeah, it came with its first real red flag. Bike was kept in a really nice garage. I could see the owner had other nice bikes. Checked the bike over. Nothing seemed to be leaking. Everything looked to be in good quality. It clearly hadn't been overly tracked. I think it might have hit the track at some point, and I'll explain why a little bit later. So it was all going good, and then the one rule I always have when it comes to buying something is I refuse to buy anything until I've ridden it or driven it. You just don't know what a car is like until you've driven it, and you don't know what a bike is like until you've ridden it. But when I asked to take it out just to test it to make sure everything worked, the owner said no. But after all that effort and everything else checking out, I decided to overlook that one factor, because I had gone to so much effort and work and research into this particular model of bike that I had felt pretty confident. And I've been around enough bikes and cars, buying and selling now, that everything else checked out. And I thought at this level of performance, I could understand why someone might not be willing to let me take it out. So I kind of just figured, do you know what? I've met the guy, we've had that conversation. Let's do it.
Don't get me on the video, for God's sake. Nobody will be watching it.
There'll be tears soon, that's what it'll be. So here it is, the Aprilia Tuono 1100 V4 Factory. Oh my word, dream bike. Let's go for a ride. Tell you what I like, what I don't like, what it feels like. Yeah, big moment this. As you can tell, that's a lot of noise. Yeah, that slip-on titanium exhaust. Woo. So I thought we'll just take a very gentle cruise today. So we'll just take it through town. Get some nice echoey noises off the walls. I'm a big fan of this thing. Low speeds, it's worth noting, it's relatively smooth, and a bit smoother than I thought it might be, having listened to some of the reviews. Really, when I was looking at this, I was comparing it to the S1000RR. And the S1000RR is an incredible bike, and really in this price range, it's between this, the S1000RR, or the R, depending on, if you want a super sport or a super naked. I guess it really is hyper naked territory. Just for that short amount of time that you get to ride around, I just felt it was best to get something that I really wanted. And that's this Italian beauty. Oh my word, it sounds so good. Yeah, so we rode the S1000R, and then I just compared this to the S1000R. I didn't get to ride that bike, but it's the same engine, it's the same electronics. The inline 4 is an incredible engine. BMW make some of the most refined stuff there is, and I really like that. It fills you with confidence in the corners. But for me, I wanted something that really put the smile on my face and was really exciting.
Now, I'm sure you'd like to know some of the specs of the bike. Well, aluminium chassis and swing arms, 320mm Brembo front brakes, and 220 on the rear. Horsepower and torque from this V4, which is a 1077cc, strictly speaking. 173 horsepower and around 120 newton meters of torque. And wet weight is around 210 kilos, and again that will depend on, you know, how much fuel's in there at any one point. And then there was a couple of little things where I was just like, I think this might have been tracked at some point. Again, you would expect this bike to be tracked, but I was kind of concerned that that might have been the case. And this was the little suggestion here, the coolant reservoir overflow tank. Yeah, that was completely empty, and I suspect that was done again just to reduce a slight bit of weight from the bike. There was no leakage, so there was that. The rear fairing was all pretty clean, not too much rubber in there, so I figured, oh well, if it ever has been tracked, it couldn't have been tracked that hard. So other than that, I think I might have just found a complete gem. Now, as I mentioned, I bought this off market, which did mean that it wasn't really prepped. So he hadn't washed it, it'd been sat all winter, you know, it was right at the start of the season. And I was like, I want to get this right before the season starts so I can get it all ready to go out and ride. Great. But yeah, one or two little factors, no MOT, which led to this incredible little clip. So as you can tell, everyone was very excited to see this exotic Italian motorbike. That V4 engine it just sounds insane and delivers power and torque unlike anything I've experienced before other than the S1000RR, but it does it with so much character. Some key factors that really help provide that level of performance and excitement. One includes the Öhlins forks, front and rear, with a fully adjustable damper as well. It is so compliant on the road that you can just really give it a good go in any kind of scenario, and it just soaks up those bumps so well. Another factor is these incredible Brembo brakes that anchor on so hard but give such a nice progressive feel as well. And I can't neglect to mention that quick shifter on the upshifts. It backfires like gunshots going down the road. It is insane.
And that's what the Italians do best. And I'm not gloating when I say this, but you know, having come off the back of a week of driving and filming both the Ferrari Roma and the Lamborghini Huracan STO, it just reminded me that when you do have, you know, when you're going out for fun and having fun times on your machines, you want it to really speak to you more than just, you know, performance figures. You know, it needs to have character, and that's what this bike's got. It's got bags of character. It's actually, you know, the reliability, everyone said, is pretty strong. It's got one or two little foibles, but then I think most bikes do have a little bit of that. Like the first thing I noticed, and I'm just going to point out the negatives right now. First thing I noticed, so where the filler is, the fumes that come out of it, that was quite strong. So every time I walk into my garage, I can smell fuel, and I don't like that very much. So you can replace the gasket. I don't know if that would help, because I was looking at the gasket and it looked perfectly fine to me. You know, there's no perish and no cracks, but I guess it is 10 years old, so potentially it's just what I can't see. So there's that, and then these mirrors, but then I guess there's nothing Aprilia can do about that. Listen to this. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It just sounds so amazing. Just give it a crack up here. Ready? I promise you now, that was like 30% throttle. 30. And the front wheel was coming up, and I'm in full wheelie control. So that just tells you, like, this has got so much to give. Oh, I just want to ride this all the time. And this is where like the real debate came up when I was thinking about buying this bike, is what year do you buy? I wanted the 17 plate, because the advantage with the 17 plate is that you get cruise control, you get the blipper up and down. Yeah, so the quick shifter is only up, not a big deal, but get on it into a corner, having to pull the clutch in on the downshifts is like, yeah, it just takes more time. Obviously as I get more comfortable with it, I'll be able to smooth that out a little bit, but I was only going to do a short run. I was actually going to start going back home now, but I'm going to carry on a bit more, because every time I get back on the bike I realise how good it is. So sitting position is very comfortable. You could do hours on this. You know, it's not a touring bike, but everyone says that has them. You could tour on it. I definitely feel like you could. You might want a bit more wind protection, but if you're going to properly tour, then obviously you want a touring bike for that. But you know, this is still great. Loving this. Not super aggressive, so on the weekends you can have a great time. Get your knee down if you want to. Between this and the 17, I got this at a great price. So I was really looking at a £2 jump to get a 17 plate. That's just too much for a blipper on the downshifts and cruise control. Just £2 wasn't worth it to me. Worth mentioning the Öhlins suspension as we go over those bumps. The bike really can't be unsettled very much. You have to really like ask for trouble if you want the suspension to be upset. The Öhlins is just so good, and I find below 5,000 RPM I pull the clutch and I don't use the quick shifter. I think it's recommended that over 5 then you can use the quick shifter. You know, if you start ducking in, you know, it just feels great. I personally would prefer a Michelin tyre. I swear by Michelin. If I ever replace these, I will go to Michelin's. Not to say that these are bad tyres. Right, let's go. This is the thing you notice with all over traffic, is everybody is so slow compared to what this bike is capable of. It's got so much more to give. That's half throttle. And it's high traffic time, but I ain't going to faff around with that. What about temperatures? So I found this to actually be pretty good, even at low speeds. It will start to heat up, like now we're at 89. We've just come off the dual carriageway, giving it a little blip. We'll go 105, and then the fans are, at that point they've probably kicked in already, and then it starts to settle down. But it does start to increase quite quickly. It's not like London, it's like people aren't quite so used to people overtaking them. So yeah, super comfortable for filtering and doing your thing. Yeah, we're at 99 degrees, and I think at this point like the fans will kick in and it's not the end of the world. When it comes to smiles, I don't think anything's going to touch this. I haven't tried the Yamaha, tried an old Honda CB, but it's a bit unfair to compare a 10-year-old bike to a 20-year-old bike. Technology's come on so far, but this is very comparable to the S1000RR that I rode, and Aprilia are doing so well now that obviously all that work and effort they've put into making the incredible bikes is starting to pay off. So I'd be interested to know what you think. You know, if you're in the price bracket of £8,000 in the UK, what would you be buying?